What up, guys? Mad Scientist 7890 here, your favorite wrestling shooter and hip hop enthusiast. Now with this one, gonna be in the lab video. Got a couple. I wasn't gonna do this video, but a couple interesting topics all at once kind of popped up. One I wanted to really talk about in a single video, but it's more of a MMA topic, so I'm just gonna throw that in here randomly at the end. So basically, with this one, first topic I'm gonna talk about here is Ring of Honor, and how I think that they're in trouble. You know, you become to notice it more and more. The true fans of Ring of Honor, who've been fans of Ring of Honor since, 2002, 2003, 2004, and up into 2005, 2006 when they were real hot, all the way till now. You can gradually see it from the beginning of 2012 all the way till now, or I guess you could say from the time they got a deal with Sinclair Broadcasting, basically. How they have changed, how things are different, and it's not the way it used to be. It used to be edgy wrestling, it used to be this, this and that, and it's not what it used to be anymore. I've been so disappointed with Ring of Honor this year. You have no idea. Ring of Honor went from being my favorite wrestling company in the entire world to being, I really don't even watch their TV show. I really don't even watch their TV show. I dislike it. It's so boring. I'm so bored. The pay-per-views, all the pay-per-views this year, the last pay-per-view Best in the World was fun. It was a good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it, but it still wasn't up to standard what Ring of Honor used to be. Their tag team division hasn't put on a great tag team match all year. Their main event scene has been just stale. Kevin Steen's the champ now, but Kevin Steen's been chasing that championship for the last year, last 6 months or whatever. So it's like still in the main event is what it is. But the big things that happened, since I've noticed, obviously, how I have disliked it over the year, this year up until now, more and more things are happening to Ring of Honor that are foreshadowing the possibility of them maybe losing their deal, maybe going under. I don't want to go that far, but just being on hard times, because I feel like right now they're the worst place they've ever been in the history of Ring of Honor. That is how much I dislike them right now. Now, things I'm going to mention that made me want to talk about this topic, obviously, Ring of Honor canceled their Carolina shows because of low ticket attendance. That's horrible. I don't think they've ever canceled a show, ever. They canceled both those Carolina shows. Then, come Impact, rumor was going around, swirling, that Kenny King was going to be a part of this X Division tournament. I was like, that can't happen. They're not going to use him. He just won, the tag titles with Rhett Titus. They're the tag champs. It's all good. It's great. Yada, yada. Who shows up on Impact? Kenny King. Rumor was true. Wins his match. Going to Destination X. Now, there was a verbal agreement, I guess, with, Kenny King with Ring of Honor, is he could go talk to other, promoters and different things, but he couldn't wrestle for them. He couldn't be seen on television. He broke the code, wrestled for him, got into this tournament, and, and is now currently fired. So Ring of Honor basically has no tag team champions. And the booking decisions that they're making are not good. Don't get me wrong, they have talent, but, Kenny King said it best. And I'll link this video in the description if you guys want to check it out. Kenny King says Ring of Honor is edgy wrestling without an edge. Without an edge right now. Ring of Honor has no edge. There's nothing interesting about Ring of Honor. I mean, they have some great wrestlers, but there's nothing that draws me in. Kevin Steen alone can't draw me into a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Kevin Steen can't wrestle all 7 matches. Kevin Steen can't cut. Well, maybe Kevin Steen could cut an hour-and-a-half promo, but I mean, I'd rather watch a shoot interview or something with him instead of that. But what I'm trying to say is that mentality, that old school mentality, that Sinclair Broadcasting, taking over. They want, this is how they want it. This is how they want the show to be, kind of deal. And it's not working because true Ring of Honor fans like myself, who probably, I've been watching Ring of Honor longer than maybe, I don't know, the majority of YWC shooters out there. I watched Ring of Honor way before a lot of these guys they got into Ring of Honor. I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I know what Ring of Honor is. When people say you're just shitting on Ring of Honor because they had a bad pay-per-view, because they had a bad match, because of this, because of that. No, I know how the old Ring of Honor is. That's the style of Ring of Honor I liked, and they can't do that anymore. Whether it's talent, whether what it is, what it isn't. Bringing in guys like Finlay, bringing in like Lance Storm, putting them on television, using Homicide and Rhino. Nobody cares about these guys anymore. Ring of Honor has always been about bringing up young stars. They're trying that with Adam Cole and Michael Elgin, but what happened was everyone jumped ship at one time. Ring of Honor, when they realize they lose this talent, they need to go out and scout more people. There's plenty of guys on the independent scene that they can bring in. All these guys left at once. Hero, Claudio, around the same time. Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, Nigel McGuinness, but Nigel McGuinness can't wrestle anymore. Like, Austin Aries left. Like, Kenny King's gone now. I mean, I don't know. I think they give Davey Richards whatever Davey Richards wants because they know they think he's pretty much their flagship wrestler. Along with maybe Kevin Steen now, who's kind of like Ring of Honor's version of CM Punk. But he can't really carry the whole company himself because Davey Richards is kind of in that stale mode. Eddie Edwards is in that stale mode. The only thing refreshing whatsoever, in my opinion, about Ring of Honor is Adam Cole, Michael Elgin, and I would even say Mike Bennett. I like Mike Bennett. I like Mike Bennett with Maria. I like the gimmick he has. I like the promos and the things they do. But other than that, I just don't care about all the other stuff. It's not edgy anymore. The storylines aren't there. That's just my thought. I think Ring of Honor is in big trouble. That's just my opinion. The word in the locker room, according to Kenny King, is people are frustrated. They want to leave. They don't like the way things are being run. I understand that. So, it's crazy. We could be looking at another case of, ECW. Could we be looking at, Ring of Honor going under and maybe 2015 a rise and fall of Ring of Honor. Who knows? But I will link you to that video. Kenny King, I think it was back in April, he did with High Spots Wrestling, where he talks about Sinclair Broadcasting and edgy wrestling, Ring of Honor being edgy, but not having an edge right now. It's just, you'll understand and you'll get the possible reason why he's been wanting to leave for a while. So that's that. Next, gonna lead into a Destination X preview. Was not able to do the preview with J-Man on the IWR show. He pretty much said a lot of the same things I would have said. But, but I will say, I do think, I've only said this maybe about 2 other TNA pay-per-views. And both pay-per-views were really good, but they still don't think they were the best. But I honestly think on paper, this looks like this could have not just only be the best TNA pay-per-view of the year, the best TNA pay-per-view ever. And that's crazy to say that because there's been quite a few good ones back in 2005. Turning Point 2009 was really good, but just on paper, the way this looks, the overall entertainment value and overall match quality on this show, a lot of these guys that they have in the tournament, in this wrestling tournament, I know all of these guys actually from the indie scene, from PWG, from Chikara, from WWE Developmental. I know all these guys, so it's not like none of these guys are just random nobodies that I've never heard of. For some other people, maybe not, but it is what it is. Like I said, Kenny King came on here. The big thing about this, I'm not really going to go into detail on who I think is going to be in the Final Four, but I do think Kenny King's going to win this whole tournament. He's going to win the Ultimate X, give up being a tag champion in Ring of Honor, to come to TNA. That there ought to be some big reason, because if he's just going to be in this tournament and he's not going to get signed, that's a big gamble. He obviously, in my opinion, I think TNA was like, look, we like your look. You're big. You can fly. You can work. You can talk. I mean, we want you. And we are willing to make you our X Division champion. And I am 100% behind it, because the thing that me and J-Man talked about numerous times with the X Division is you can have these guys be the X Division champion and be high-flying guys, but Aries did his thing and he won his matches, but the way he continued to be on television and do the things he did is right here. This thing right here. His mouth. Yeah. Cutting promos, getting himself over, showing people behind the stage that he wants it. He wanted to be where he's at, and he's in the main event of this pay-per-view. So obviously, he's doing something right. I think he has, Kenny King has the prototypical size. He has the look. He has, to me, if you were to put all these guys together and tell me who I think would face, Austin Aries and have a chance of actually beating him, like believability of beating him for the X Division title, I would say Kenny King. That would be the only person, or maybe Doug Williams. But Doug Williams doesn't do much talking. But Doug Williams is just a great wrestler. But I think Kenny King wins this Ultimate X. I'm not going to go into logistics anymore. Like I said, wins the X title. Great moment. Glad to see it. If the sync is really syncing with Ring of Honor, he got out of there and he wins the X title here. He made a fabulous move because TNA is not going anywhere. TNA is on the up and up right now. A lot of people are getting back into TNA because of what they have been doing. Some things really, really great. Some things not so great. But I think the better things outweigh the bad things. So that's that. Joe versus Angle, 15-minute Bound for Glory. I see this possibly going. I don't think either guy's going to win. I think this goes 15 minutes. A 15-minute draw, hopefully, because I'd love to see this go 15 minutes to a draw. They both get points. Good match here. Can't wait for that. Styles and Daniels. I think last year Daniels and Styles were kind of disappointed with their match at Destination X. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was as good as it could have been. I think this could be really, really good. If there's not any Kaz involvement, if there's not Dixie involvement, if there's not Claire Lynch or whatever the hell her name is, as long as there's not a bunch of involvement. I know it's last man standing, so obviously there could be some shenanigans, but overall the match quality of this should be very good. And then finally the main event, Aries versus Rude. I think a lot of people, I think it was backward. I think really a lot of people got it backwards. I think J-Man actually thought on IWR that a lot of people thought Aries was going to win the title here. And I think a lot of people don't think that. I actually think a lot of people think Rude's going to retain. And I think Aries is going to win here. I think Aries is going to win the title here. And even if it's just, it's just for that short time until close to Bound for Glory, I think Rude may win it back. But it's just one of those things like giving Aries the title. Or maybe Aries runs with it to Bound for Glory and they have, Rude, Storm, Aries, triple threat. Who knows? I think Aries wins the title here. And I think it's a great moment, and I think it's well deserved. The only thing out of this, the reason I say that, and the only reason I say that is because leading up to Bound for Glory, Bobby Roode can't face any of the guys in the Bound for Glory series in a pay-per-view. In a pay-per-view main event match for the title. He can't face any of them. So there's all your main eventers. Who's Bobby Roode going to face? He has to either have Aries win here and then have him face again at the next pay-per-view, or the only other thing I can think of is Sting coming back. They basically say these guys who beat him down were, hired by Rude to take him out, and then Sting and, Rude feud all the way to Bound for Glory, and then Storm wins the tournament or something like that. That's what I think is going to happen. Either or, but I think Aries wins the title here. I'm going to stick with that, and I really hope it happens. So that's Destination X preview there. I can't wait for it. And actually, July 8th is actually my birthday, my 22nd birthday. So hopefully it's a good birthday, and hopefully we get a good pay-per-view out of it here. So, and then finally, last thing I want to talk about is not a big MMA guy, really not. But I wanted to just talk about this quick here. Silva versus Sonnen, which is today, Saturday, tonight. I can't wait for this fight. All the stuff leading up to this, their first fight was great. Silva being that guy that nobody can beat, and Sonnen almost beat him the first time, and Sonnen barely lost to Silva in their first fight, and I think it's gonna be a close one again here. Silva has never, showed out. He's never gotten mad or ignorant with his, people he fights. He's always been real respectful. He has not been respectful of Sonnen. Sonnen is the epitome of MMA's CM Punk, Kevin Steen. He's outspoken. He says whatever he wants. He's hilarious. He's easily the best, probably the best crossover MMA to wrestler that there is out there. I think he's that good on, he's not really, in MMA is real, so it's not like, to have somebody writing, what he's going to say, but the things he comes up with were so great, and it's so entertaining, and this fight feels like, to me, probably one of the biggest fights in UFC history. It really does. It really has that feel. I really want to see Sonnen win here. It almost reminds me of like CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank. And it just like Sonnen winning here is just like, it's just something the crowd really is behind, I think, and would be a great, great moment. And it's one of those moments, like I said, Cena, CM Punk, Money in the Bank, and I'm definitely going to watch it. Like I said, I don't watch that much MMA, but I'm definitely catching this fight, and I think even wrestling fans out there are even talking about this. So definitely check this out, guys. If you check out any MMA show or any MMA fight this year, I would definitely say to check that out. So I am the Mad Scientist. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Like I said, let me know what you guys think about Ring of Honor being in trouble. A lot of things they're doing. I'm really worried because it just seems like they're sinking right now. They're really sinking. Destination X, possibility of being their best pay-per-view of the year, maybe best ever. Even I'm throwing it out there, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, Sonnen versus Silva. Really one of the most anticipated MMA fights in recent memories, to me at least. So I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I am the what was I gonna say? I was gonna say I am the Mad Scientist something. I had my own a new catch line at the end here, but I just feel like I'm just not gonna work. So I'm just gonna stick with what always works. I'm gonna go with I'm the Mad Scientist, your favorite wrestling shooter and hip hop enthusiast. I'm out of here. Deuces.